Welcome to the Think Generational Wealth podcast, and you are listening to episode 89. And I am your host, Amir Estimo. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. And first of all, I always like to open up each podcast with appreciation. Like I always say, I appreciate anybody that takes the time to listen to this podcast. Because you could honestly be doing anything in this world, but the fact that you're taking the time listening to this podcast is much appreciative. And I hope this podcast comes to you with value. And the goal of this podcast is to help increase financial literacy awareness, may bring more awareness to financial illiteracy because we are a country where we are not smart with our money. And even for me, who's living amongst this country, I too am learning in the process of doing these things. And it's a podcast where you come and learn. And I know there's so much information out there. And you could just probably go and Google it or something to that nature. But if you're listening to this podcast, I hope that whatever you take out of this podcast or any of the podcast episodes, you take out, there's some value to you. So thank you very much. All right, so today's episode, I'm thinking about doing probably a 3-part series. And this is something where I've been actually researching and implementing. And it's the topic of multiple income. And today's episode is, why is it important for you to have multiple streams of income? And these are 10 reasons why. And reason number 1, think of it this way. So let's say whether it's your business or you have a corporate job, and let's start with your corporate job. I have one too, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't, but I do. And let's say you get a call, and it's your manager calling you to let you know, hey, you've been here a very long time and we appreciate your work. We appreciate all the things. And you can always know when a conversation starts like that, depending on the mood of the conversation, you can know any of us that's been let go before and who's been fired. I've been fired probably from 3 jobs. Yeah, 3 jobs I've been fired from. And I learned a lesson from each one, and it only made me better. So, coming from an immigrant background, you basically, when you hit a certain age, it's, hey, you need to start taking care of yourself. You need to learn how to take care of yourself, okay? But like these things, multiple income were not really inserted. It was not really talked about. And that's something I've been learning and actually researching, not only just researching, but implementing too, is creating multiple streams of income. So your manager comes and then they say, okay, hey, we're going to let you go. If you only have one income, you're close to being broke. You don't realize it. And I heard this on a podcast from Jay Jones, the Black Entrepreneur podcast. If you could check it out. And there was a episode where he talked about that, where he mentioned if you only have one stream of income, you're practically broke. And that hit home because it made me realize for myself that, okay, I'm not where I want to be. And you probably think the same thing too. You have a job, but you never realize that if you lost your job, how you're going to come to your family and you got to let them know, hey, I don't have a job anymore. And that's a tough thing. That's a tough pill to swallow. I've had to follow that. I've had to deal with that as a man myself. So for you, once that happens, what do? That's why it's imperative. Reason number 1 is to have multiple streams of income, because you never know when unemployment may lay you off from your job, may let you terminate you, whatever the reason is, right? And if you only have one stream of income, then that's it. That's basically zero. And they say the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, even more. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, and you can see the rising cost of healthcare. Healthcare, and by the way, this episode is inspired by this article is I'm going over is from money.usnews.com. So if you want to check it out, /money/blogs. So if you want to check it out, you can read about it. Just want to give the source credit. So the rising cost of healthcare, that's gone up. That's a reason you want to have multiple streams of income. I think number three reason is you must take control of your income, because no one's going to do it for you. You must take control of your income. So that's why it's imperative for you to take the time to research, to study, to implement, take action, whether it's starting investing, whether it's opening a 401k. And by the way, again, just a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, so this is all for educational purposes. So please, whatever content you hear on this, please do your own due diligence and research. Okay, so then, I'm sorry about that. No one's going to take control. You must take control of your income. That's where we're at. You must take control of your income, because no one's going to do it for you. That's reason number three. Reason number four. Let's say you want to send your kids to college. College is expensive, and now we're talking about the student loan forgiveness. Probably listen to episode, I think it was 2 episodes ago. So if you want to check it out, you can hear me talk about the student loan forgiveness. And I think that student loan forgiveness will help some people, believe it or not. And the reason is that even if you get the full credit, the full $20,000, thinking about it. Let's say you owe $50,000, now you're down to $30,000. So now your debt to income decreases. Your debt to income decreases, and that extra $20,000 that you're saving now, guess what you can do with it? Put into some investment, real estate, stocks. So, and there's all sorts of stuff you can do to grow wealth, start a business. So you want to be able to pay cash for your purchases. One thing I've talked to my wife about is things that like cars or cell phones, stuff that require where you want to do a monthly payment. No longer going to do that. Pay cash for it. Yeah, I'll just say this. I've leased a car probably for the past 3 years. This is my second go with it, but I'm getting to the point. I think this is probably advantageous. It's because I just don't like staying in the same car, because I'm not a car person. I really don't care for cars. I like having a car because it takes you from point A to B, but it's not something that to me it doesn't grow wealth. It's a depreciating asset. So instead of me, let's say I've owned cars several times, and I can tell you, once you pay that car off, that thing all of a sudden starts breaking down on you. That's when it has all sorts of problems. And you're just like, man, is this even worth it? So one thing I like about it, the only thing I put is some new tires. I've had to do that several times, and a couple of times, actually, several times. And now that's to each his own. But does that help you grow wealth? No. I'll be the first to tell you it does not. So that's why I said maybe when it comes to cars, it's time to just pay cash for those things. You work hard, buy a car cash. It's a depreciating asset. We already know that. But there's no use of carrying there's no use of carrying that. There's no use of carrying that type of debt because it's a depreciating asset. Might as well just buy cash if you can, and you're done with it. Okay, remember millionaires? The average millionaire. I was reading an article a while back ago, and it says the average millionaires leverage credit. Obviously, they don't use their own capital. They use other people's money to grow their wealth. But one of the things an argument was one millionaire was saying, well, leasing a car works for him because he doesn't have to. First of all, his business pays for it. So with the fact that his business pays for it, he his business pays for his depreciating asset. And that's where you want to get to. I think if we were to think in terms of, okay, maybe start a business to have that income, that extra income can help. What if you wanted to have something like that? You don't have to, it doesn't have to come out of your income. You can have an asset pay for that type of stuff, for depreciating asset. That's that rich dad, poor dad terminology. Build a new stream of income. Not only just have one, don't stop at one, go for two, go for three, go for four. And I think that was something that was eye opener for me. Was I've always been so used to just having one source of income. I've never really been an entrepreneur. I've always had a job. So one thing that's really been so different is, and it's taken me, honestly, it's taken me probably about a year or two to realize that I actually have a business and I need to do something with this, because it's different to come out when you've never been an entrepreneur, and now you have to learn how to talk to people. You have to learn how to, obviously entrepreneurship, sales. And it's taken me a while to start realizing that, man, I need to really take this entrepreneur thing serious. So that's why having a new stream of income is imperative. It's very important, because when you have new streams of income, guess what's happened? If you lose your job, you're not running around with your head cut off. You're okay. Imagine if you have 4 streams of income. You lose one, especially in this day and age right now with the way the market's been up and down, everything is going up. Inflation. Think about that. That's another reason to have multiple streams of income. Inflation. Things are expensive. I remember I used to buy these eggs at Sam's. Them things used to cost $2.99. I went recently to buy it and it was $5.99. The rising inflation, folks. This should be an eye opener. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I truly think this was an eye opener for me. Realizing that you need multiple streams of income. So if you lose that one income, guess what? You still have 3 more to go. Okay? Pay down debt. I know we're carrying debt. Don't fool ourselves. And if you're not, congrats to you. But we're carrying some type of debt. Student loans, mortgage, car notes. We're carrying debt, folks. So having multiple streams of income gives you that leverage to be able to pay down your debt even faster. Credit cards, that's another debt we're carrying. And the interest, right? The interest. And I actually want to share something with you guys on the side note. Me and my wife tried out something. We're trying out something to help save money and pay down debt. And we don't have. It's not like it's a lot to be. It's not like it's a lot of debt, but it's just that we're realizing we got to be able to start investing. We got to be, because we're getting older. We're not younger, so we're trying out this method. I would like to share it with you guys. We're trying this out. So it's a method where we are actually using the term of the rich dad, poor dad. We're paying ourselves first. We are paying ourselves first. So the way it's worked for us is we have a certain amount we put in, and I think it was like $2 a day or something like that. So, or not $2 a day. So let's say, for example, you put $2, so that money doubles. So by the by when you get to the, I think 30th day, you should be like $60 or something. I'm not exact on the numbers, but basic what I'm saying is we're taking that money and it's doubling. So if you go two, then the next day you put four, the next day you put eight, then the next day you put 16, next thing you put 32, and so on, right? So we're trying this out, and we after the 30th day, what we'll do then is we'll sit down and calculate, say, okay, what bills can we pay off? Well, we can pay this off, boom. So we're looking to not just increase our savings. That's another reason. The reason I bring this up, because that's another reason why you need multiple streams of income. And I think I'm at reason number, I want to say 7 now. And you need to increase your savings rate. That's what's going to help you be able to retire comfortably. Now, will it be perfect? I don't know. Everybody's goals are different. Your goals may be different. You may say, hey, I need $1 million and I can live the rest of my life. I may say I need 20 million. Who knows? Everybody's goals are different. And that's what makes us unique. But one thing we can all agree on is if you don't have any savings, it will be hard. It's very hard. So if your money, you can't save money and put money away, then it's very hard. It'll be very hard. So you need to be able to have multiple streams of income to increase your savings rate, right? So we are at reason number 9, by the way. So reason number 9, and the reason number 9, it says to build a holiday fund, but I'm going to say different. So let's say your family likes to travel. Why not have a travel fund? Why not put some money in there? Then you guys can take trips, be paid in cash. You don't have to, I realized, I'll say this. When I was in Mexico, me and my family went to Mexico a couple months ago. And it was such a different experience. And my family being from Haiti, I've traveled Haiti several times. I haven't been there in a very long time. I would like to go, but due to certain circumstances right now, doesn't allow us to go. And we still have family in Haiti. But what I'm saying is there is such a different way of life that you realize people live on so little and they're happy. I mean, the shows, you can see they are so proud of being who they are. And I think in America, we've lost that. I don't want to get too political, but I'm just saying we have lost that. So when you go outside of the U.S., you realize how different it is and how you don't need all this. And reason why we are so equipped to go in debt is because we're all trying to keep up. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We're all trying to keep up with each other. Social media has created a false image of reality for people. And what you see is not what is going on in the background. So that's why for myself, if anybody listens to this podcast, I am not an expert. I am not a guru. I am not a thought leader. I guess that's what you call it these days. I just a guy I enjoy talking about financial literacy. Once in a while, bringing people into the podcast. But if you notice this podcast, if you've been following this podcast a very long time, you notice that I very rarely have guests. And it's nothing to say, it's not that I don't want guests, but I really wanted to build a foundation, really wanted to build a tribe of people and not make my show really so guest-centric. It'd be nice to have a guest once in a while, but I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy podcasting. And one of the things I enjoy is traveling. So when I talk about reason number 9, and you can be able to travel, go to places outside, get a passport. If you don't have a passport, get a passport. Get outside of your comfort zone. It's crazy when I realize how there's people that's never even left their state. I get flabbergasted. I was like, there's a world outside of there. I mean, maybe circumstances and everybody's circumstances are different. Sometimes my wife tells me I have a very way of thinking of things, and maybe sometimes miss on the human element. But I just couldn't comprehend how anybody has not traveled outside at least your country or at least your state. I mean, I just couldn't see myself staying somewhere and not going outside, because there's only so much time we have on this planet, and there's so much of this world we still haven't seen, but it's a small world, and if that makes sense. Because if you notice, people say, man, that's a small world because I met this person or whatever. Oh, man, this person, I remember I met a friend from high school. I was hanging out, and I can't remember where. I can't remember where exactly. And we saw each other. We're like, I know you. Yeah, I know you. And it was crazy. And it was just be like, man, this is a small world. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but I'm just saying, reason number 9 is being able to pay cash. Let's say you want something materialistic, instead of slapping that on a credit card, killing you in the interest, you can instead be able to pay cash for that. Remember, that was one of the reasons, pay cash for everything. Not pay cash for everything, but pay cash for purchases. So like if you want to buy a car, you can pay cash for it. You want to buy that new iPhone 13, now you're on the 14, you can pay cash for it, right? And I talked about this reason, and I would say the reason number 10 is diversify your portfolio, diversify your income. You don't want all your income to be in just one location in your job. You don't want that. You want to be able to have your income in real estate, maybe in stocks, maybe in some type of investment. Maybe, you have 401k. Well, I wouldn't say 401k. That's your savings. Sorry about that. But you have, but that helps with increasing your savings, right? That was one of the reasons. That was reason to increase your savings. You need to increase your savings rate, but to have multiple streams of income, you don't just want to have it. That's why your business, you can be able to create multiple streams of income there. Maybe your business is involved in affiliate marketing. Maybe your business is involved, you have, let's say you have a financial service company. You don't have to just be, or let's say you're doing credit repair. You could be offering life insurance. That's another stream of income. You can be offering coaching. That's another stream of income. You can be offering creating a book for your business. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. There's so many ways you can create income. You don't want your business just to be reliant on one income. You want it to be able to survive on its own. Most businesses that are $100,000 a month businesses is not just in one thing. They're doing other things too. A flipper is they're just not flipping houses. They have rentals on the side too, folks. Some of these flippers, they have their own inside. How can I say inside? Maybe they have their own. Sometimes they have their own. They're brokers. That's what I meant to say. They're brokers. So they have multiple streams of income. So you don't want your business, because now let's say the flipping business slows down, but you remember you have rentals. Maybe it's apartments. There are so many ways you can have multiple streams of income. Let's say if you're a teacher, maybe you could teach a course. You can create a course, right? Let's say you're a teacher and I don't know if you guys follow her. I think her name was Miss Monica. My daughter used to watch her. Now my daughter doesn't watch her as much as she used to, but she used to like her. And she's a teacher. Her YouTube channel, last time I checked, had I think, over 150,000 subscribers. She not only does that, she has coaching, and not coach, she does tutoring. And if you're a teacher, you could be able to, whether it's, let's say you teach, you want to teach about health. You want to teach a vegan diet. You want to teach how, you want to teach maybe there is a sickness you beat, or you want to teach people there's a certain lifestyle. We're all teachers. I mean, we all have, we got to be students too, right? Not all of us could be teachers. But if that's something that's ingrained in you, that's another avenue that you can look into. There's so many ways. We have to be able to take control of our income. We got to be able to take control of that, because anybody that listens to this podcast, unless you're under the age of 18 and you live at home with your family, for the most part, you don't experience what it is to be an adult yet. You don't get to experience that. So this podcast, I hope, was of value to you. So let's talk about this podcast. So reason number one, I talked about with the rising healthcare costs. Reason number two, if you lose your job. Reason number three, paying for your kids' college. Reason number four is living within your means. And I talked about how we're the reason why we're now a nation of financial literacy is because we are trying to keep up with each other, social media. I think this is reason number 5, pay cash for purchases like your car, cell phones, any of that stuff. Reason number 6, build new streams of income. Reason number 7, pay down debt. Reason number 8, diversify your income, right? Increase your savings rate. Take control of your income. The reason number 9 is having a fun. So maybe like me, I like to travel. And reason number 10 is to take control of your income. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this podcast. I appreciate you. And sorry if you hear that background noise. That's my dog. And I appreciate you guys listening to this episode. If you enjoy this content, subscribe to the podcast and share it. Leave a 5-star rating. That's how the podcast will be out. That's how this podcast will be. You get this message about financial literacy. And today's podcast episode was brought to you by Amirson Financial and Amirson Investments. Amirson Financial is a financial service company that helps people with credit education, helps them build wealth, helps them pay down debt and save money. Education. Amirson Investments is a real estate company that specializes in land, also residential, and also mobile homes. So if you want to partner with Amirson Investments, you can reach Amirson Investments on Instagram, Amirson Investments, also Amirson Financial. All right. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this podcast. And I want to leave you with a quote. And the quote is, excuses are born out of fear. Eliminate your fear and there will be no excuses. Thank you, and I appreciate you listening to this podcast. Till next week, much love.